I'm going to go over the advancements of the Atlantean Project, talk about a couple of the features the development team have been recently working on, and announce the winner of the Eco giveaway for December. So stay tuned, there's a lot of good stuff to go over. So first, the Atlantean Project. It started with my own base location that was set inland a bit and also had a couple small housing rooms. Then the tunnel was built that led to the ocean, and by the time we emerged from land, we were well underwater. Here's where I built my new workshop and store and hollowed out and enclosed a big area for a couple large lumber stockpiles, and made this my new base of operations. The area at the top of the tunnel was deconstructed and turned into a grand entrance for Atlantis. And I'll say that the entrance, as well as some of the other things I'm going to talk about, are in place with the help of the citizens on the server. I think it's good when you can get people to work together on big construction projects. And the government build law works great for doing this, as it pays individuals for their construction effort and scales depending upon the value of the blocks they're using. Now, for my own workshop and storage area, I did do that construction myself, because it's a personally owned area. It's my own land. But the entrance and some of the other more public areas that'll be part of Atlantis are all a collaborative effort, stemming from contracts, build laws, and different things like that just help bring it all together. With my own little area set up, the tunneling continued onward and farther down into a deeper part of the ocean. This massive area is what I've labeled as the Atlantis Power Plant, but it's gonna be a bit more than that. The power plant is going to be a mixture of charcoal or generator-powered electricity that's also supplemented with a number of wind turbines. It'll all be a matter of pushing the limits of the CO2 production while still keeping all the lights burning. So to turn this underwater ocean area into an actual livable environment, it required a little careful planning and incremental work. First was to build a massive roof that covered the entire area designated for the Atlantean power plant. With this in place, I was able to contract out to other citizens a framed glass wall that would extend from the roof all the way down to the dirt or ocean floor. What this did is seal off the interior of the Atlantis area from the rest of the ocean. From here, it took a big piece of work to pump out all this water, but it also created a great economic opportunity. Any void in this entire interior region needed to get filled with some sort of block, so we used mortared stone. I don't know the exact number of mortared stone that it took, but it was somewhere between 12,000 and 15,000. This not only drained off a lot of the mortared stone that had been sitting on the market, but also pulled in a lot of the unprocessed stone and created a big demand for mortar, which we actually ran short of, and production had to step up to keep up with that demand. Now, you've also heard me say that we also have a tax on mortar made from sand, and also any mortar made from plant fiber on the campfire. So this created a big demand for wheat on the open market, and helped keep those farmers that were a part of this agrarian society a little funded as well. So economically, we do have this chain running from the masons and the mortared stone all the way back to the farmers and gatherers for the mortar ingredients. But there was also some other economic things going on here as well. Citizens were getting paid straight labor to lay down all these blocks inside of the Atlantean area. Once all the blocks were laid, which displaced all the water, they all had to get removed, which led to more payment to pick up each block and get it out of the way. Now, one thing we didn't want to do is put all this mortared stone back on the market. That would actually take away work and money from any masons that were now able to make new mortared stone. So all that mortared stone was burned down into research papers, where they could be turned into garbage or put into a chest and have one of the admins do a zap to get rid of it. Now, before you think of the admin zap as a bit of a cheat, it's not really. The mortared stone had served its purpose. Its function was to pump out the contents of this Atlantean power plant area. Once that purpose had been served, we just considered the mortared stone had served its purpose, and wanted to treat it like food or oil in the game, where once it's used, it's kind of gone and it's out of the economic cycle. The next thing was to build a medium-sized room to be able to place an industrial elevator on the roof. And you can't just place an industrial elevator on the roof in the water, because almost like any other object, it's not placeable if water is present. So that same cycle was repeated. Build the room, fill it with blocks, and remove the blocks to leave an empty space. The elevator was needed to allow easy access to the roof. This is where 3 towers were built, made of reinforced concrete and corrugated steel. The towers reached all the way above the surface of the ocean and is where 4 wind turbines would be placed on each one. The industrial elevator allowed someone to be able to take their truck up there and have easier access to all those materials needed for the tower. A short little chain of wall lamps would bring the electricity down into Atlantis, where we could use it for all kinds of different things. The first thing it was going to be used for was to provide a little light and power for this electric machinist table. Now, why did we need this electric machinist table, you ask? Well, it was to overcome the next issue, which was part of this Atlantean build. This whole area had literally mountains of sand, truckloads and truckloads. And much like the mortared stone, I didn't want this project to dump thousands and thousands of sand onto the market. Using some rather free government-supplied calories, the sand would be burned down into glass at a kiln, and then further consolidated into framed glass. This framed glass could be handled a lot like the papers from the mortared stone. Rather than put them on the market and take away an economic opportunity for a player, we could just put them in a stockpile and zap them away. Running the sand through this chain of consolidation also allows us to create a couple more small economic opportunities for people. The government could buy some crushed limestone, which is needed for the original glass. And then we could also buy some steel bars, which will be used for the framed glass. So you can see that the construction of this Atlantean project, which is largely backed by the government in this more public space, not only creates a cool building project, but also creates some economic opportunities for contract labor, use of products, and lets the other citizens contribute to a kind of global build program. So that's how Atlantis is going. Once this area is cleared out, we'll start putting some really high-tier buildings inside of it, and I'm gonna, of course, show you what that's all about in a future video. The devs have also been busy, and I noticed a couple things that showed up that caught my eye. One is a food spoilage system. Right now, you can buy food and keep it on your person or in a trunk, and it just stays there indefinitely. It never goes bad. So I'm assuming this food spoilage system means that you can't just stockpile 100 of some kind of food and keep it. You're gonna have to continually buy new food, or else it spoils or degrades or somehow goes bad in some way. Perhaps it even hurts your character if you eat it. I really don't know what they have planned here, but I think it's a good idea to have something that's more dynamic and progresses with time during the game like this. The other thing I noticed that's even more exciting, and I'm really happy to see this one, is work on nations. Our server has wanted to have a kind of second city, or in some way have a competing government or multiple economic and independently governed areas on the same world. You can do this now by overlaying districts on multiple zoning tables, but it takes a lot of work, and this effort they're putting in on nations is definitely movement in that area and is probably somehow layered along with other government and economic breakdowns. Like, you might be able to form a nation that has its own constitution, but then that nation can be composed of different counties or towns, each with their own special regulations. It'll just allow easy setup of competing government entities, I think, and being able to tune special things for local residents, that sort of thing. I don't want to make too many assumptions on what nations will actually include, but I know a lot of people have been anticipating being able to do that kind of nation or multiple city concept in the game. And now it's time to announce the winner of the December Eco Giveaway. The winner is Wayheart. To redeem your free Eco Game Key, send me an email to my business email you'll find on my home channel page. After that, you should receive your free game key to download your copy of the game. I've got more Eco, Star Citizen, Space Engineers, and all kinds of new games planned for 2022. And I'm looking forward to some free time for the holidays, undoubtedly with some gaming involved. Thanks for watching, and I'll be talking to you later.